Guys, Kenwood Sports, man, back with another video just to break down the Saints and Minnesota Vikings game that was that was overseas in the UK. Played in the Tottenham Stadium to be specific. 9:30 Sunday morning. It was the first NFL game on. Jameis Winston was out for the Saints. Michael Thomas was out for the Saints. Alvin Kamara was also out. So that was a big chunk of the offense, huge chunk of the offense. Andy Dalton got to start, a seasoned veteran for the Saints. Marquez Callaway and Chris Olave held it down in the passing game. Andy Dalton had a real decent game. He went 20 of 28 with one touchdown, no interceptions. The run game was it was mediocre. Saints had called up Latavius Murray, who he played with the Saints before a few seasons back, but Saints put him on the practice squad last week, and he ended up playing this week. So it was him and Mark Ingram both got the carries. Latavius Murray went for like 57 yards. I think Mark Ingram went for like 30 yards, but Latavius Murray did score a goal line touchdown. So one touchdown from Andy Dalton passing, one touchdown from Latavius Murray on the ground. Marquez Callaway, that dude made some big catches. He made some real big catches in that game. Chris Olave keep continuing to prove himself and show why the Saints picked him up in the first round. He was the NFC Rookie of the Month for September. He really been balling. He showed it this game. Guys got to keep an eye on him. The boy is really balling. But the defense side of the ball, that's where the trouble came in at. Justin Jefferson over there from Minnesota, Kirk Cousins over there, Dalvin Cook, and you got Adam Thielen. He's still there. He's still a threat. You got to be able to pay attention to this dude and watch what he's doing. You got to play some ball on the defensive side when it comes to those guys. Kirk Cousins do have an arm. He really one of the most underrated quarterbacks because he known to lay an egg at times. To be honest with you, but Justin Jefferson he went for 147 yards through the air, 147 yards receiving with 10 catches. Thielen had 8 catches for another 72, so that's 18 catches for over 200 yards. That's a lot of yards for two guys, and that's a lot of yards for a defense to give up. Now, Marshawn Lattimore, 9 times out of 10, he gonna cover his guy. He gonna be locking down. Justin Jefferson really got the best of him in this game, and how that's pretty much how Minnesota won this game with Justin Jefferson going off like he did with the 10 catches for 147 yards. The rest of the defense, I think defense had 3 sacks on Kirk Cousins, which is decent for the Saints defense. That's about something that I expect. Mario Davis, Cam Jordan, those guys, they really did their thing on the defensive side of the ball. But everybody know when it come down to the Saints and it come down to Minnesota, the Saints was a 4 point underdog in this game. A 4 point underdog. The referees is always an issue when it come down to Minnesota and the Saints. Tyrann Mathieu, the defense that was playing some great football on third down, stopping these guys. I don't have the numbers right in front of me on the third down conversions, but the Saints converted way more than Minnesota Vikings did on third down. When it came down to it, the nitty gritty toward the end of the game was locked up, locked and tied. The Minnesota Vikings was marching down the field. Saints made a huge third down stop on a bomb down the field to I think it was Justin Jefferson. The ref ended up calling a flag away from the ball on Tyrann Mathieu. Everybody know when Tyrann Mathieu playing press coverage on a guy, he always gonna put his hands on him within the first 5 yards. He ended up doing that. He put his hands up on the guy and it ended up rushing up and hitting the guy on the face mask, which was a crazy call for them to make. It did happen. I won't lie about that. But it was a crazy call for them to make at the time that they made it. But I believe that's just how the Vegas work with these games, with these close games when they want a certain team to win. The referee threw the flag, and pretty much, I'm gonna say this: after that happened, the Saints still had a chance to win that game. The best kicker one of the best kickers in the league out of Georgia State. He been with the Saints for about 6 years now, I think, at least 5 years. Will Lutz, which I got a lot of respect, high regard. Dude got a lead. He hit a 60-yarder. He had a 60-yard to keep the Saints in the game, that tied the game up, and kept the Saints in it. And it came down to him again hitting another 60-yarder in the fourth quarter to tie the game up to send it into overtime. But the ball ended up hitting the goalpost, and it hit the goalpost twice. Boom, boom. hit the upright up, hit the crossbar and flew off onto the ground. But it was a real close game. To say the Saints didn't have Kamara, didn't have Thomas, and didn't have James Winston, it was a real close game played by the Saints. But to me, the Saints was playing the referees too at the same time. But one thing the Saints got to implement into the offense that the Saints is used to doing over the last 10 years or so is getting the ball in space. Getting the ball in space. Um, Kamara, that's what he's big at. Chris Olave, he's a speedster. Getting the ball in space to those guys, making screen plays. Pete Carmichael, you really got to get back to the drawing board. Sean Payton not there no more. But you work with Sean Payton for all these years. You think that'll be something that you picked up. It's something that I know from watching the Saints for all these years. That's something that should be done. So we'll see how they make their adjustments this coming up week. Hate to see the Saints drop to 1-3. Could have been an easy 2-2, but hey, things happen. I know Marshawn Lattimore going to the drawing board. He gonna watch that film. He gonna see what he did wrong up against Justin Jefferson. Gave up a lot of yards against that dude, but like I say, he one of the top corners in the league. 9 times out of 10, he gonna lock up. He really gonna lock up most of the time. So I can't wait to see what they do the next weeks coming up. Kamara gonna come back. Michael Thomas come back healthily, hopefully, and James Winston come back. But I don't mind Andy Dalton being in there. Let me say that because he really did his thing, establishing himself in Cincinnati with AJ Green over there. He really did his thing over there. So I like what he did this week. If he can get back in the game and do the same thing next week, I can see the Saints getting a victory, man. So stay tuned in with me, stay locked in with me. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Like this video if you haven't liked this video, and I'm gonna get back with you.